We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. If you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. What will happen on Nvidia earnings? Will the market get scared out of the water by the big stock market shark? Or is it time to start thinking about altcoins as a different animal than stocks? AKA, as a friend of mine says, the decoupling. In other words, do altcoins have to go, oh my God, every time Nvidia comes out with earnings? Stay tuned for the shocking answer. Also, what altcoins are we looking at? Well, I can tell you what altcoins my Patreon is looking at. Patreon.com/unhinged crypto. They are one of the sponsors of this channel. Please check out my Patreon. The link is down below on the screen. It is in the description down below, and I am dropping it into the chat right now. These guys get everything early. They get historical analysis. Please come check us out. This show is also brought to you by LuxAlgo. LuxAlgo is happy with me, and I'm glad because I'm happy with them. Listen, they have made my life easier. The affiliate link is in the description down below. We are headed for a major bottom just like last year. That is going to be an indispensable tool. All right, let's welcome who's here before we get into altcoins, Nvidia, Bitcoin support levels. Richard Barry, first on the stream, sir. Welcome. Bull Runner, Crux of Crypto. Yappy is here. Wanting to look at a meme coin? Don't let me forget. FD White in the house. What's up? Teapod, Lawn Shark with the sheepdog love. B Cashy, welcome. Bob Marsh, somebody who we always appreciate coming in and commenting on Unhinged Crypto videos, which I will tell you about soon. Local Liquid, DC Precise is here. Welcome. Patriot Caveman in the house. Let's go. Raul is here. Douglas, Art, Jay Mizzle, Purple Roads Finance. Welcome. He's digging the Patreon, sir. I appreciate that. Tulsi is here from Denmark. Huckleberry Native, MVK, K Real, some new names. By the way, if you're watching those short videos, feel free to leave a comment down below. And of course, don't forget to hit the like button. That helps the channel. If you help the channel, I can help you. It is close to go time in crypto. All right, let's go to news. Plenty of it. Before we do that, okay, so this is the Unhinged Crypto YouTube channel. Me and my partner, Toby, right? Partner in crypto, sitting here doing like a man and a woman talking about crypto. Why does this matter? Two YouTube influencers got shut off in the last 7 days. Now they're back, but in the event anything ever happens, that's where the market update goes on YouTube. So it's at Unhinged Crypto on YouTube. Please make sure you are subscribed and you turn on alerts. Okay, now let's go to news. All right, just so you know, this is last year. This time last year, it was like, what's the point of crypto? It's like, that's how discouraging it was. Same type of thing. Down in mid-August, we did down in early August. There was a hope rally, just like the Fed rally we had. That got unwound, right? Just like our rally just got unwound. And then they had to do a sort of cruel and unusual sweep of those lows before recovering. Kind of hoping we skip this. We'll see. People freaking out over Nvidia, the larger point, right? We are plus or minus 2-3 weeks from what I think is going to be a low, right? You're going to get the dips. What I do know about this time, seriously, is that you got paid to accumulate. They gave you noise. They gave you dips. You got paid to get involved, right? Okay. So in addition to, crypto influencers randomly getting turned off, we have OpenSea meets Gary, right? These guys, it's like they're acting like they're still going to be around in November. Really. It's like the guy hasn't won a court case his entire time he's been chairman of, Uncle Sugar's enforcement community. What's he going to get? Oh, yeah. JPEGs are securities. Okay. Well, if NFTs are giving you a percentage ownership in something, okay. But they're JPEGs. They're JPEGs that allow you to be in a community or a club. So we wish them the best of luck with this. Undoubtedly, OpenSea is ready. Cryptocurrencies slide, according to CNBC, and Bitcoin briefly falls under 60K. Who was the seller yesterday? Really? With Michael Saylor waiting down there, we have somebody selling Bitcoin down 6%. Wow. Seriously. Ridiculous. That can only be a sovereign, right? If you follow the pattern of sort of defiance, right? There's a certain wave, I don't know, a wave of freedom going in one direction, and then there's the old stuff. The old stuff is like, I don't know, it's like your clothing stinks. You keep washing it, but it still stinks. They're still around. They still keep pushing. Again, Bitcoin down 6% yesterday. Why? Something positive happens in one area, they sell crypto. I mean, I know that sounds weird, but that's how I'm looking at it. And that's going to get unwound because you can only hold the market down so long. Bitcoin whales, MicroStrategy, Marathon Digital, all losing money. Oh my God. King Crypto is crashing. Okay. Come talk to me in October like last year, right? The emotion of the moment is never correct. Never correct. Okay. Bloomberg noting that Bitcoin has unwound the entire Jay Powell rally. A word on economics. Everybody thinks Jay Powell has to cut rates because the economy is going into a recession. I watched a YouTube video yesterday and I discovered that this video shows that the old-fashioned definition of a recession doesn't really happen anymore because America has a very wealthy capital class with the very low cost of debt. Okay. And the stock market's doing just fine. So unless you wreck the stock market down 40% like 2008, you can't really have a technical recession. Now, that said, of course, people are suffering, right? Crypto's down, grocery stores a nightmare, job creation is made up. The recession, the slowdown is happening now. And Powell has been choking the economy with higher rates. So the thing that's funny is the Fed needs to cut rates, not because of what's going to happen. They need to cut rates because they need to start choking everybody out now, right? This is the recession. This is it, right? And unless equities go down 40%, this is what you're going to have. High inflation with no employment growth, people on unemployment claims longer. It's happening now. Not it's going to happen later. All these economics nerds are looking at data that is outdated in terms of economic prediction. They need to cut rates now, right now, because the recession has been going on for over a year. So fascinating that anytime something good happens in crypto, somehow it gets unwound. I wonder how that's happening. Interesting, right? Oh, yeah, let's hit ETH down 10%. You know, ETH versus Bitcoin is getting to a point where it's frankly, it's absurd. And if they happen to hit ETH again, which is possible off this Nvidia earnings, you don't know how the algorithms are going to trade that. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. People I talk to don't think it's going to be a big deal, but the market is freaking out. So they want to hit Ethereum again. Be ready to be in there over the next 2 days. I'll show you some historical numbers just as an example of the type of stuff that we're doing in Patreon. Okay. Ether ETFs have had an exodus, but it's deceiving because the money is moving, the ETH and the money is moving into BlackRock's products. I mean, who in their right mind would own a tech stock when you can get into ETH at these dramatically discounted prices? And who knows, tech stocks may actually wind up being okay, because if Nvidia is not a disaster today, what's the problem over there? They're probably in a range or just sitting around. Meanwhile, crypto is unbelievably cheap. Okay, here's Mac Attack. I don't think I could get any more bullish. So looking from a YouTube video of another individual, right? Altcoin bottoms, and if things play out the same way as they have in the past, coins are going to dramatically outperform, according to this individual, later this year. This is confirmed by a guy named Luke Martin, who has his own proprietary indicator about altcoins, basically saying the last time Bitcoin and alts were behaving as they are now was back in 2020, back in the summer when Bitcoin went from 10K to 60K in the next month. Altcoins currently at the sell your house to buy more level. Patreon last night got like 6 or 8 charts about DePIN coins and where those coins have to support. I mean, this dip in some ways in the top sectors, they're like handing it to you. Okay, meanwhile, no one wants altcoins, but everyone thinks it's okay, right? Over there in equities, right? Like, I don't know if it's the end of the world on Nvidia, but clearly Warren Buffett continues to sell, which is a nice way of saying there is no value in equities, meaning there's nothing cheap over there. There's nothing worth taking risk on over there. Nothing. Now, does that mean it has to crash or go down? Everyone thinks a recession is coming. You know, I think the recession is already here. But there's no value in stocks, right? In other words, if you want something that's undervalued that they can go up a lot, yeah, forget it. Warren would rather sit in cash. Okay. Now, notably, he's selling Bank of America stock. I don't know, folks. Long Bitcoin, short the banks. Long Bitcoin, short the banks. It's happening now. Meanwhile, again, they're falling over themselves to stop themselves out of Bitcoin at 60K. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You know, and if they do it again tomorrow, my attitude is just take it from them. Like, again, we gave the DePIN coins to everybody in Patreon, and a lot of other cryptos look similar. Okay, here it is. Nvidia earnings are the drama of the moment. So we have, you know, geopolitical dramas of the moment. We have Jackson Hole. Oh my God, what's Powell going to say? You know, Powell's like, yeah, okay, we need to adjust policy. Oh, okay, we knew that, right? Now it's Nvidia earnings. Oh my God, it's the biggest earnings release in the history of earnings releases. Rickards, the gold guy, warns of bubbles bursting, the Nvidia bubble. I don't know, man. Didn't we just have kind of a mega crash and things recovered? I mean, again, the algos will trade the number tomorrow. We'll see. What does this have to do with crypto, by the way? Nothing. Honestly, nothing. Except for the algos are all going to trade it all on the same day, but that's what creates opportunity, right? The humans know it's decoupling. The algos don't. So tomorrow could be your big chance. All right. So on Nvidia, somebody's claiming that, you know, their third biggest customer, Super Microcomputer, has got some trouble. Okay. Grok is saying that a research group known as Hindenburg Research is questioning one of Nvidia's biggest customers accounting. Okay, yeah. Things can change as long as the earnings are not a disaster. This strikes me as the latest worry trade that just creates artificially depressed crypto prices. Jerome Powell, unpacking the pivot. Okay, I just did, right? The recession isn't coming. They're all looking at the wrong data. They're like, oh, well, durable goods and purchasing managers index and industrial economy stuff. The economy's digital, it's service-based, and the wealth class that owns most of the wealth in the United States is doing just fine. The choke point is what's happening to everyone underneath the ruling class, which has been a disaster for over a year. So Powell's just going to be like, his words were perfect. It's time to adjust policy. Not we're worried about a recession. It's just time to adjust policy. Because, you know, the recession has been going on for over a year, or the slowdown in growth, or just how about the pain? Okay, Arthur Hayes, fiat liquidity conditions could not be more favorable going into the final stretches of the third quarter. We have the following tailwinds at our backs as crypto hodlers. Okay, the largest risk in equities is their 22 PE. Normally it's 13. That's like the number you assign to how excited we are about earnings in the stock market. Normally it's 13. Now it's 22. Okay. The biggest risk is an Nvidia stock market problem. But again, Arthur Hayes, the tailwinds are at our back. Okay. Another headline is plenty filthy, from Bugs Bunny. The dirty money could stimulate the economy ahead of November. Still plenty of money out there circulating. The Fed has got to stop choking housing. Like, housing is locked. Housing cannot trade. Housing prices way up here. Housing sales way down here. How do they get housing trading again? They got to change rates. They got to get it moving up or down. It's not a functional market anymore. Okay, Arkham and CoinGecko partnering for on-chain data analytics. This Arkham token may have to sit still and do nothing, but I remember how expensive Nansen was last cycle. This whole thing about being able to understand the blockchain and actually making that available to Joe Public, that could make an interesting project, and that could be profitable, right? Which would be a refreshing change in crypto, right? Okay, Solana-based Soon token backed by Coinbase Ventures aims at, improving transaction speed on Ethereum. And I understand it's a layer 2 for Solana. And this is funny. All right. Web 2 is competing with Web 3 for electricity. The AI trade is not in chips. It's in power generation. Okay. I actually think Bitcoin miners are going to be net generators of power if they can harness the heat that comes off the rigs that do the Bitcoin mining. I also continue to believe that Bitcoin miners are a way better idea than most people think. Okay. Now let's see who else is here. Okay, on fire today. Yes, just getting busy. You got to get on before the fear event and after. Indie Rock Crypto, much love from Western Michigan. Crypto Crazy need to beat the market back down so they can buy it at better rates. It's hard to argue with that. Big buyers don't mind when it goes down 5%. Although how Bitcoin got down 5% is a question we all need to be asking ourselves. Forget about it is here. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Wasim coming in from crypto. And Crypto Crazy is talking about the fact that there is a lot of, let's call it interesting economic data out there. When the Fed cuts rates, they're going to be talking about relieving the pain now, not in advance of pain later. This whole obsession with recession thing, wrong. Okay. The recession is happening now in certain sectors of the economy. And in an election year, they have to do something. That changes the psychology in my mind headed into this rate cut or rate meeting near sort of the second half of December. Okay, going to PowerPoint. Got a lot in PowerPoint today for your market update. Okay, so QQQ, NASDAQ 100. All right, so up here, everybody frothy. Down here on hedge funds getting stopped out and a lot of other speculators because of changes in fiat currencies, right? The yen is an engine for speculation. It helps finance speculation because it always goes down and interest rates are cheap. So when that temporarily changed, all the way down. Then the plunge protection team comes in, all the way back up. Okay. Now everyone's afraid that there could be downside continuation. That's not an unreasonable fear. A lot of times when you're going to have downside continuation, you get resistance at the 76% retracement. However, LuxAlgo has inserted support underneath there. So, if Nvidia earnings are a disaster, well, that's outside of our control. If Nvidia earnings are not a disaster, algos may trade whatever algos trade the first day, but that's an opportunity for decoupling. Also, if those earnings are, meh, you may have one big flush trade in equities and one big flush trade in crypto. And just like last year, right, that flush at the beginning of September or near the end of August, that was a huge opportunity. Okay, here's Nvidia. So Nvidia has a ton of support underneath it, right? The Nvidia daily chart does have a Williams oscillator signal. It says a big move is coming. There's a lot of support underneath Nvidia. And I think as crypto people, we have to ask ourselves, what happens if it's not a disaster? Like what happens if it's just meh or it's as expected, right? Equities go like this and we sit here and go, why are we selling? Why? Right? Especially after what Arthur Hayes said. Okay, here's the thing from Hindenburg Research. They're essentially alleging accounting issues with the big customers of one big customer of Nvidia. And there's always a murmur of somebody questioning Nvidia's accounting. My answer is whatever. Okay, let's take a look at historical analysis. I'm busting out with this on the stream. Okay, it's normally for Patreon, but I think some of this was interesting enough to trot out early. What happens when ETH is down 10% on a Tuesday? Okay, now the next day, ETH +1, that's the next day up here. You can see all the dates that this happened. August 27th being the most recent one. So the next day, not shockingly, ETH is up 60% at a time. Average rally is close to 4%. Then the day after that, ETH's back down again. So the average is about 2%. And if it gets nasty, the average of the down moves is 4%. So, ETH is down 77% of the time 2 days later. That would be post Nvidia earnings. Now, how do we read this? So obviously, if you get a failed rally in ETH, they're going to take one more shot at the downside. But given the charts I'm about to show you, if they do take one more shot at the downside, it could be a V bottom because I don't know what Nvidia has to do with us. Nothing. So if algos hit ETH tomorrow or tonight, okay, let them hit it 4% and then take it from them. Like that's how I'm looking at this. Now, one of the reasons for that semi-cowboy attitude is the history of Bitcoin at the end of August. So September is normally not good for Bitcoin. That's very clear. But at the end of August, looking from the 27th out 4 days. So here's all the August 27th going back to 2010. 70% of the time, Bitcoin does okay at the end of August. It does okay. The average of all the up moves is 4%. The average of the couple down moves is, 2.8. So risk reward is good. If they hit the market, they might bring it back, or they just may not hit it. September is a different story. It feels to me like it's already priced in. But if they want to hit the market, particularly in alts, right? Remember all those proprietary indicators about alts in tweets? What is the case to sell this stuff? And if there is a case to sell this stuff, there's a case to take it from them. That's how I'm looking at it. Now, here's ETH versus Bitcoin. This is crazy banana pants. BitBoy Al is here. Sir, you're never too late. You're never too early. You're right on time. LuxAlgo has a cool new feature that I've discovered. It has discount, like it's cheap. Okay. You can use that in legacy. Now you can have a similar concept in crypto. There's cheap, expensive, and equilibrium. So ETH versus Bitcoin is not only in this oversold green band area, but it actually hit the discount or cheap zone yesterday. ETH versus Bitcoin, its equilibrium is all the way back where this last give up trade started. Why is everyone giving up on Ethereum? I mean, again, if they sell Ethereum tomorrow, I got to think you take it from them. Really. Ethereum versus Bitcoin on DeMark. Tom DeMark was a quantitative analyst back in the 80s and 90s. He's still around, but this is looked at by everybody in legacy. The big 13s and the big number 9s are indicative to look for trend reversals. The 13 signal being the most powerful. So this is not confirmed yet because you don't have a rally going in the other direction. But oh my God, are they going to continue to sell ETH with ETH in the oversold zone, the cheap zone with a DeMark 13 signal? Your 4-hour chart of ETH is not totally clear on DeMark, but if there was going to be a reversal in ETH, now would be a good time. That's how I would interpret this chart. Again, they took out this support point at 2,600 and blew out everybody. Like, who's left to be long? Nobody. Nobody wants the Ethereum ETF. Everybody just got liquidated in ETH. It's the abyss, just like last year. Let me tell you something, people. This time last year, I was like, I think it's over. I think it's over. It's crypto winter, and every time it goes up, they just smash it back down again. I mean, did yesterday feel any different? Now, there is an argument to just stop crying and take it from them when they hit it. That's it. Because you got paid to do that last year. And I'm going to do it this year, and they can call me names and carry me out if we're wrong. But the case for crypto is better now than it was last year. And the Fed has choked the economy, certain points of the economy, to the point where they just can't choke it anymore. Not in an election year. Not in an election year. Okay, ETH has retraced 62% of its overall up move since the crash. Tons of support near 2,400. Multiple LuxAlgo buy signals. There's the X signal, which is like the warning of that's like their 9 bottom. And then you have the double triangle here indicating that's it. They want to hit this one more time to 2,400. It's a gift. And if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. Okay, Bitcoin, again, now would be a good time to reverse higher. This to me feels like sovereign selling or stop fishing. This thing with that European country across the channel from England, that picked up somebody running a social media platform. What is up with that? There's that incident, people getting shut off on social media, market going down mysteriously. Gensler on OpenSea. You know what, folks? They can do this all day long. They can do it all month long, as far as I'm concerned. Michael Saylor BlackRock, and anybody with a stock trading account and more than 2 brain cells can figure out that the Bitcoin ETF is the way to go for the fourth quarter. And I can put up with all the nonsense that they're going to put up with. I have thought this last 3 months was frankly BS. I'm not going to get upset if they make me live through another week, 3 weeks, whatever. I'm not. Because it's going to be like last year where you're going to get paid and then some. That was a 3-wave up, a gradual impulsive move. This next round is going to be a 5-wave up, which is going to be emotional, right? In other words, people will fight the first move up and then everyone will pour in. So even the people who are bullish will give up and get short probably. Despair will be high and then it will launch. Okay, Bitcoin, again, retracing 38% of its recent up move. What's the problem? Yes, there is resistance at 61 from LuxAlgo. 59, 58 is support. The Bitcoin minutia, it's like, oh, it's $1,000 to support. It's $1,000 to resistance. Who cares? What about 125? What about that? This is when you think about 125. When they're smashing it right into a retracement zone. They did you a favor. And you know what? If they try to hit this thing again tomorrow, okay, well, good luck with that because there's a fib number and LuxAlgo support underneath the market. You would have to have something horrendous happen to have this thing below 58. So I don't know. They can have fun with this. Why would I sell the market into support? This looked like the market was going to take off forever. There was a sell signal up here. And then they handed it to you here. What are they going to do? Hand it to you again at 55? Well, okay. If we're going to trade crypto off Nvidia, that's pretty silly. But if they want to do it, okay. Okay. But 58 and 59 look pretty good to me. You could have bought Bitcoin below 20K for 6 months. You could have bought Bitcoin below 40K for several months. Everybody thought the ETF was sell the fact. Could Nvidia earnings be buy the fact? When are we going to get over this whole Nvidia drives everything? Doesn't. Solana on support. On support near 142. Notice how they unwound the whole Fed rally. They did you a favor. Equilibrium in Solana is 150. And they retraced 62% of Solana's last little run-up and ran the stops for good measure. We're giving up on Solana? What are we doing? We don't think the Fed needs to cut rates when they've been choking the economy for 9 months? Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Not to mention the fact that this meme coin thing is going to wake up again. Again, what's the difference between this year and last year? There isn't any. There isn't any. How many people, I don't know if you're going to have multi-millionaires again, but if they come out with all new meme coin stuff and it happens again, if you miss it the first time, okay, they caught you sleeping. You miss it again? Can't miss it again. You got to have Solana on hand. Where are they going to take this thing? How many times have they taken it down to 120? It doesn't stay down there, right? So even if it doesn't move, okay, it doesn't move. Solana is telling you that what's going on in ETH and Bitcoin is a bunch of nonsense. Okay, total 3, altcoin market cap. So it would be a good idea if altcoin market cap held where it is right now. That would be constructive, right? Pretty much all the altcoins that you'd be interested in. Again, Patreon got depinned last night. Okay, patreon.com/unhinged crypto. Go check it out. I am pumping every time I do a post. I'm doing a podcast, coaching, market color video where I can say what I want to say. And I'm just pumping altcoin overtime in there. Every post, I'm doing 3 altcoins at a time. All right. So I'm going to do the same thing for you guys because I love you guys, right? Morpheus, an AI project. Very, very hot. All the way up. Couldn't get back down to the 38% retracement. LuxAlgo coming in and buying it with gusto. This 4 is an AI-based buy signal. So 1 is weak, 4 is strong. LuxAlgo coming in here with conviction on AI. Patreon got Render on support last night. Render, they can't control themselves. They got to have it at 560. They're going to hit this off Nvidia earnings. If anything, Nvidia earnings, whatever it is, the idea is that, oh, you know, it's time to move over to blockchain to do AI. Blockchain and utilities, right? All right. Okay. Bob noting AVAX was not cheap at 27 after all. Got that wrong, but I'm still hanging on for AVAX. Not gonna get rid of that just because that went down one day. AVE, 38% retracement and capitulative selling. So everyone who had to sell AVE, they just used this rally to sell, dying to see if this 38% number held. Okay. Dying to see if it holds. Bob says something horrendous, real or perceived, always happening. Okay. And Aiken is looking for the October surprise. Joseph is here from Brazil. Okay. Chainlink at the bottom of a channel and LuxAlgo support at $10. Near on the 38% retracement level. Okay. Now they went down below it. I don't know if they can do it again. But a lot of these big altcoins, I don't know. They're of interest to me. Okay, let's go check Avalanche so I can face the music on that. Ugh. So Avalanche now below equilibrium on a 4-hour chart. I did a video about something long-term on this. You know, the equilibrium level in Avalanche on the weekly chart is at 75. So Avalanche taking out the 38% retracement, support at 21. Ouch. Bottom fishing is a very expensive sport. I get it. It's an expensive sport. What you don't want to do is get so twisted up that you forget that crypto is going to have a mind of its own very soon. Whenever they are, when they stop leaning on it, whenever they run out of court cases, whenever they run out of desperate measures to limit freedom, crypto rises. And it's very important to not get like weeded out, right? Not get weeded out during a despair period that, again, to share the screen, looks just like last year, right? All the way up in August, all the way back down again. Normally, the end of August is positive. We'll see. This thing with Nvidia, I don't know. My question is, what does it have to do with crypto unless the stock market goes down 4%? And even if the stock market does go down 4%, certain of these altcoins are going to get so cheap, accumulating them on massive weakness could make sense. Okay. Okay. Routine Cheese says, I think this will end badly. Let's not forget what they did to silver for decades. Okay. You know, that is a valid point. Let's share the screen and take a look at precious metals. Let's take a look at precious metals and the dollar, right? I know the dollar is bouncing. Not exactly a huge bounce. Okay, this downward trajectory. Okay, they broke a trend line. I've been saying this all year. What has been the case for the dollar? Now, just to sort of drive home this point about having conviction, right? How long did the dollar sit up here? From January, from February until July. So you sat here and you said, the dollar's going down, the dollar's going down, the dollar's going down. And it didn't. It just sat there for 6 months. And then, boom. This is like what Bitcoin is going to do, except going the other way. I can wait. Now, just to give you the idea of what's going on, the fear trade on Nvidia as we're talking, right? Okay, let's try like a 30-minute chart. Okay, so fear is getting perky again. This is VIX. So VIX was at 15. It's now at almost 17 off fear of Nvidia. We're selling crypto because the AI trade confined to a tech stock. Look at MicroStrategy on like an 89-minute chart. Let's try something. So not a good look for MicroStrategy, huh? Breaking a trend line. You know, my attitude on this is, you know, you do have to respect the technicals. You have to respect it. You also have to respect the idea that in bull markets, sometimes you have to buy it when it looks the worst. And if everybody, like, think about it. They're selling MicroStrategy. They're selling Galaxy Digital. They're selling Hut Mining down 8%. Why? Well, because I guess they're afraid of Nvidia. They're always afraid of something. And if there's nothing to be afraid of tomorrow, what happens to this market? People are going to look and go, gee, why are we selling? Now, if they take it down, I want you to be there. I want you to be there. Okay. Okay. Aiken says he agrees with Routine Cheese. BTC is compromised and has agencies hammering it. You know, I can't disagree. But historically, it's tough to put lightning in a bottle. It's tough, right? In other words, I don't like thinking about it this way, but there is talk out there that you may have to wait until the election for the market to go back up. Now, that makes for a lot of really long market updates, okay? But when they try to break the market in stocks, you got paid to buy it when it looked the worst. Black Monday was a classic example. And if they hit this thing tomorrow, this is like the key point. If they hit the market tomorrow, assuming a non-apocalypse, if they hit the market tomorrow and it doesn't stay down, like you get that V bottom action, that would be a very encouraging sign. And even if there's some consternation around the Fed in September, I mean, who doesn't want a repeat of last year, right? And crypto, Daniel J made it. And Crypto Crazy said, yes, this is a world asset. I totally agree. Remember, it's the only currency that you can't print. And here's another little twist, kind of for thought leadership. You know, you realize that every week, every month, boomers are passing money, inheritance over to millennials, and then that may make its way to Gen Z eventually. There is going to be a huge wealth transfer in this country. Does that favor crypto or stocks? In other words, what do you really want to own for value? And where are you going to continuously have a new flow of users? Well, that would be crypto. So 58 is support in Bitcoin. 2,400 is support in ETH. ETH versus Bitcoin is ridiculous. Sometimes, as they say in equities, the cheap can get cheaper. Okay. Let them hand it to you tomorrow. And you know what? If that's wrong, honestly, I'm willing to take the heat. Because unless you have the market down like 20, 30%, like Black Monday, this is noise. Noise on stuff that has nothing to do with the value proposition of crypto long term, noise that has nothing to do with the fact that lower rates are necessary to stop choking the economy, and frankly, noise to distract you or discourage you from the fact that human freedom is going to make a comeback, right? Aiken is like, I have nowhere else to go to believe in the future. We appreciate you, sir. And of course, we appreciate your business. Patreon subscribers, thank you for supporting the channel. The Patreon link is in the description down below, along with the LuxAlgo affiliate. Friends, thanks for joining in. We'll see you after NVIDIA earnings.